So Trump's 100 days in office has already materialized. Netizens and the media had their opinions and a few things to say. So let's take a look at this debate.
Has President Trump fulfilled his campaign promises? Well, he's only been in office for 100 days, so he's still got a long ways to go when it comes to fulfilling all of them. But let's start with immigration, because that's really the most obvious area that President Trump has fulfilled his campaign promises on. He has started mass deportations. He's also tightened border security, and the numbers reflect that effort. Border encounters are down by 93%, and gotaways, people who were able to sneak past Border Patrol agents, those are down by 95%. These are the lowest numbers we've seen in decades. As far as the economy front goes, Trump slapped tariffs on a bunch of different imports from other countries. He created a new Department of Government Efficiency. We all have heard of this. DOGE, which is led by Elon Musk. They claim to have saved American taxpayers billions of dollars. He also declared a national energy emergency to ramp up oil drilling. And he completely scrapped DEI programs in government agencies across the country. Obviously, everything hasn't been checked off yet, though. President Trump promised that he'd end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. Now, to be fair, he said in a Time interview recently that he made that comment in jest, even though he did repeatedly say that on the campaign trail. But he did say that he would continue negotiations with Russia and Ukraine to try to negotiate a peace deal. Remember those tax cuts that Trump promised? Well, those have still yet to be seen. Congress passed a budget outline, but the cuts are caught up in spending debates. So we're gonna have to wait and see if Republicans and Democrats on the Hill are able to work out something. I've seen these approval rating polls come out. Even from Fox News, he was scoring pretty low with 44% approval. So I'd like to know how you guys feel directly from you rather than in these polls.
So listen, here's where I think we are right now. I think that Trump and the Trump administration are going to throw some increasingly wild pitches to try to change the political trajectory of how things are going. I mean, they're now deporting U.S. citizens. You can't deport a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizens are from here. There's nowhere to deport them to. They're now arresting judges, right? It's insane. I think that we should expect some wild pitches, some truly reckless actions to try to change the trajectory of how things are going, to try to make it seem like this is a new game. I think because of that instinct in Trump, we should expect that there are going to be some things ahead that are markedly more horrible than even what they have done already. I think they're going to try to put some proverbial heads on pikes, and I think that's going to be terrible. I also think, though, that the more important truth here is that the country is against them, and the country is against him, and he knows it. And the country is not only willing to get out and protest against him, they are willing to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again in every state in the country and just about every town. Culturally, it is now firmly established that capitulation and sucking up to Trump is shameful and weak and marks you as a loser. Conversely, I think it is culturally ingrained now that saying no to Trump and fighting him and standing up to him shows that you are strong and a winner and somebody who other people might be interested in. The superabundance of court rulings against Trump will continue. I think that will help. Bottom line, I think as long as the movement against him stays nonviolent, the movement against him wins. I think Republicans in elected office at every level will face unrelenting and increasing pressure to split from Trump on his almost unbelievably unpopular policies. Everything from tariffs to cutting Medicaid, to what he's doing to Social Security, to his treatment of Ukraine, to medical research, to Meals on Wheels, to Head Start, all of it. Republicans will be under unrelenting and increasing pressure to split from him on basically every policy with which he is associated. And yes, that includes immigration. And yes, that includes his abuse of trans people. I think relentless opposition and mockery of his failures will spread and intensify as those are further exposed and as nobody in any part of Republican politics finds any way to defend him. I think emergency defense measures will increasingly spring up all over the country whenever he tries to pick anyone off, immigrants or otherwise. I think 100 days in that Donald Trump is losing. And I think Americans defending democracy are winning.
No presidential term has ever had a start quite like this. 1,538 people, mostly January 6ers, pardoned. 143 executive orders declared, 39 memorandums issued, 38 proclamations given, just 5 laws signed. 121,000 federal workers fired, 57,000 people deported, 48,000 people in ICE custody, including students who participated in pro-Palestinian protests. One long-standing alliance upended in an Oval Office raid. You see it there. One national catastrophe blamed on DEI, that plane crash. 12 weekends spent at Mar-a-Lago. A lot of golfing. 12 visits from foreign leaders, 90 trade partners pissed and confused by new tariffs, some 200 lawsuits attempting to pump the brakes. And there are nearly 1,400 days to go, around 1,360.
We've now been through 100 days of chaos and cruelty, with the Trump administration and their tariff policy wrecking our economy, raising prices, and making it more difficult for Americans to get by and to pay bills at the end of the month. We've seen massive firings of important parts of the federal government, like the National Weather Service, that keeps us safe by giving us notice before major weather events. And we have threats to Medicaid, which would decimate rural health care and make it more difficult for everybody to see their doctor or pay for that next prescription. Folks, this has been a trying time for the American people, but I believe that there is still hope, that there is a lane available for leaders to stand up and say, let's focus on people's jobs and whether they make enough to support their families. Let's focus on people's next doctor's appointment for themselves, their parents, or their kids. Let's focus on the roads and bridges that people drive every day. Let's focus on the quality of public education, and let's make sure everyone is safe and feels safe in their communities. That's the type of leadership that finds common ground and that brings the American people together, and not the meanness, the cruelty, and the chaos coming out of Washington, D.C. right now.
He's just a very funny man. You have to understand how he operates.
No president, nobody can come in and change things overnight.
I really believe that he's the one God's chosen.
I'm really very optimistic.
I know tariffs got everybody scared.
Tariffs, they don't scare me at all.
I'm willing, I think, to go through a little bit of initial pain.
We have to have some pain to have the gain.
I think that sometimes you have to go through a little bit of the fire to get to the end of the rainbow.
Nobody likes to pay more for anything, I don't, but in the long run, I think it's going to be good.
People are saying, oh, well, prices are going to go way up, we won't be able to do anything. Well, how was the last 4 years? My grocery bills were ridiculous. That was for no reason. This is for a good reason.
Even the great empires he's built in business, I trust that same savvy is going to be helping our country also.
My biggest issue is at the border, and he's killing it.
No open borders. The many millions running across the border. Now, if you look at it, the amount of documented people coming across the border, it's done in a very structured way.
It's just one of those things where you put yourself and you feel the empathy aspect of it, and you feel sort of, when you see a kid being pulled, and you're like, man, is there another way we could have did that?
I'm just thrilled that they are getting rid of the criminals and illegal aliens.
I'm not sure that all of them are real bad criminals, but if you come here illegally, it still makes you a criminal.
I do believe that people are criminals and they're doing the wrong things. They should be taken out of our country. But some of the families, I was wondering some ways we could have handled that a little bit differently.
Trump calls it a win, but 132 of his 140 orders are blocked or on hold. You're being lied to about Trump's first 100 days. Let's break it down. Yes, Trump signed over 140 executive orders, but here's the truth. 132 of them have already been blocked, paused, or are tied up in court. Signing a stack of papers doesn't mean you're actually fixing the country. While Trump is celebrating with photo ops, the economy is sliding, inflation is rising, small businesses are hurting, farmers and truckers are losing work because, well, bad trade policies, who saw that coming? And around the world, America's credibility is collapsing. Trump's so-called productivity is actually just chaos. And the courts are stopping him because so much of what he's doing is legally reckless.
He told us what he was going to do. Trump 2.0 is 100 days in. Hey, only 1,362 days to go in his presidency. Let's see how he's done in these first few months, shall we? Here we go. Starting with the most important, argue it if you dare. President Trump secured the freedom of 26 American hostages. In that time, he's also issued 142 executive orders, seen 5 bills signed, added nearly 350,000 jobs to the job market. lowered veteran unemployment, cleaned up federal employee bloat, secured the southern border and seen border crossings and encounters drop drastically by 95%, resulting in the migration through Panama's Darien Gap lowering by 99.99%. CBP and the Coast Guard have seized almost 230,000 pounds of fentanyl and other illicit drugs before entering the country. Arrested almost 160,000 illegal aliens so far this year and sent some of the worst off to Guantanamo. He's been at the helm while Doge has saved the U.S. $160 billion of waste, hosted 11 foreign leaders and 5 championship-winning teams at the White House, clarified the difference between males and females, helpful, hosted a lovely not at all sacrilegious or offensive Easter celebration recently, established a faith office at the White House, announced all those reciprocal tariffs on countries that have been taking advantage of us, to say the least, for decades. He's reduced prescription drug prices by 2%, which sounds small, but last month's drop was the largest ever recorded. Gas prices are down 7%, energy prices down 2%, egg prices are down 50%, inflation slowed the most it has in 4 years. Auto sales are up, real average hourly earning for middle and low-income workers are also up, industrial production is up. There's been at least $5 trillion in new investment into our country pledged from foreign governments and private companies. They continue to try and negotiate for world peace, protect women and women's sports, crack down on anti-Semitism, sanctuary cities. Oh, and they've done a delightful job of cleaning house amongst the stale Soros and USAID-funded Biden intellect-covering legacy media, opening the White House briefing room to new media outlets. I could actually go on. These are just some of the highlights. This administration has gotten a remarkable amount accomplished in a few short months, and it's all detailed on the White House website and socials if you want to dig in further. And while sadly we've seen that stuffy old corporate media continue to twist and bury much of this, the real question, the one that matters, is how do you think President Trump and his team are doing after the first 100 days? Remember, you get to decide. Let me know in the comments.
Hey friends, hey, it's your boy and I'm reporting to you live from the office during a little productivity break. But if you're watching this right now, lean in, lean in. That means you have survived Donald Trump's first 100 days of his second presidency. And we have seen a lot of foolishness in these 100 days. And though these 100 days have felt like 5 years plus a decade, we are here, okay? We're surviving everything that fool is throwing at us. From attacks on education to DEI to, the tariffs, the price of Temu going up, got my granny hot, okay? She don't like the fact that her Temu costs a lot now. And I don't like what my granny don't like. So now it's an issue, it's a problem. Oh, and how can I forget, the people losing their jobs, the federal work cutting, money cutting, all of the joy from life. We used to be a proper country. We used to be a proper civilization. Now what are we? Foolishness. Oh, and how dare I leave out the planes falling out the sky. Just out, dropping, gone. I don't believe it. And through all of it, we are here. I got a lot of stuff in my hair. I did not brush my hair today. We just left the house to come in because when you're a little bit cute, you don't have to do too much. But when you're a lot of bit, you gotta do little to nothing. I got sidetracked. But yes, we are surviving. We're in this thing, okay? We are here, okay? And I think you should do something to celebrate surviving 100 days of pure foolishness. And some other words I can't even think of and I probably shouldn't even say on here, so I'm not. But all today, more than any other day, and some more days after this, I hope something happens for you that makes your soul smile and your toes curl. Survivor edition. And you know what? I hope you get you a steak today. A nice juicy ribeye. And if you don't eat meat, that's okay. I hope you eat whatever you want to eat. Or a steak equivalent. Yes. Can we do a steak equivalent? Can we do something plant-based and make it taste like steak? I want you to have steak. I really do. And in conclusion of this rant, I don't want to say commemorating, but acknowledging the fact that we've been living in 100 days of a ghetto society. I want you to know, feel it in your spirit, feel it in your soul, feel it everywhere that you feel shit, okay? You will survive. And you're gonna look good while doing it. You know why? Because I said so. And do you know why I said so? Because I believe in you. And I love you for real. Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm gonna get back to work now. Bye.
Today marks 100 days since President Trump has been in office. Are you excited? I sure am. Look at all that the man has accomplished in such a short period of time. The border's secure. Illegal aliens are being deported on a daily basis. He's reversed the ridiculous Biden-era executive orders. Men are now out of women's sports. DEI hires are a thing of the past. Energy is becoming more independent. There's more of a law and order focus. The veterans in the military are being better taken care of and made stronger. Foreign policy has had a much needed reset. The election integrity and America First is now represented in trade. And that's just the top 10. Take some time today to celebrate.
Now, if there's something I've picked up from the reaction of the netizen is that people have different opinions. There are some people who've seen positives in the Trump administration, and there are people who have focused on the shitstorm that has been there, especially the last 2 months. In the first 2 months of Donald Trump, I must say, bro was moving crazy, signing orders after orders, especially that cleaning the border thing and the executive orders. But as soon as the tariff thing kicked in, man, it ruined everything. But let's see, it's just the first 100 days, it's barely a year, and it's got like 3 years. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down there below.